I am going to have a how could I not with a topic like zeal? At Unity of Salem, we were really into zeal for quite a while. And we even made a t-shirt, which has on it something you've heard before. I'm going to model it for you.
Yes. Yes.
Anybody who can't read says, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm.
Yeah.
From Charles Fillmore, and the rest of the sentence went like this. I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that are to be done by me today. I'm going to go back to that one after a bit to kind of emphasize the parts of that sentence. There is a description of zeal at the Unity Worldwide Ministries website. And there's one sentence in there that I think says it all about the power and what zeal is about. It says the power to move forward with projects and even difficult challenges. Well, so the t-shirt said I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm. I see enthusiasm mixed in with descriptions of zeal all the time. So I think maybe the first thing to do is figure out, are they synonymous? Are they, does one go with the other? Are they both just standalone? What is the difference? So when I think about enthusiasm, it is actually static and transient. And what I mean by that is it can make you want to jump up and down. It doesn't mean it's that static, but it's a feeling that is there. And it's transient in that it can come up and then pass. Zeal needs direction. Zeal is ongoing. So it's more of a long-term thing. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you like broccoli. Don't give me a bad face. Not everyone does. But, let's say you do. You like broccoli, and someone brings you a dish. Maybe you're at their house and they have a dish of broccoli, and they fixed it in some great way, and you go, I love broccoli. Oh, thank you. Broccoli is just the best. Just love it. And that is enthusiasm. But now what if you thought, I love broccoli so much that I think I would like to experiment and figure out like 100 different ways to fix broccoli. And not only that, but maybe I'd even like to put it all together and write a book of broccoli recipes. And that really chases you up. Well, now we're talking about zeal. Zeal has that direction and it's ongoing. It's not something that you're just going to drop after the broccoli is finished eating. So zeal churns through challenges. As it said from Charles Fillmore, oh no, actually it was in the Unity Worldwide, projects and even difficult challenges. And it's an attractive force. It brings you together with more people with the same love. And it's additive. You get more momentum as you go along. But how do you get it? I don't feel like, at least for me, I don't feel like zeal is something that I can just wake up one morning and think, I think I'm going to have zeal today. It doesn't work that way. So to get it, first you need to have direction. You need to have a focus. And then a start. So kind of like, I think of a train, a big train that's heavy and it has plenty of power to move, but getting started, there's no momentum And so you need maybe a little bit of extra oomph to get that training going. Then with Zeal, what would be a start? And I would say two things. One is focus on the things you have to do today relative to your focus, and do those. That gets you started, whether or not you've got momentum yet. You're make it go, cut it down to the daily task. The other is disempowering beliefs. We need to clear the way, and then Zeal is there. Zeal can come up with clear away those disempowering beliefs, like, well, I don't think that I'm good enough to do that thing that I want to do. And I'm not going to discuss how to clear beliefs today. I've done that in other days, but it would take too long. But that is the way to get started. And then give yourself short and long-term rewards. So each little step that you take, find a way to reward yourself for that, and that helps to get the momentum going as well. Once the momentum is going, then you can't not do the thing. My best friend is a musician. He's a guitarist, and he's a good example of living in Zeal. And when he first discovered guitar, he was like, that is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Well, guitar playing is not easy to get started. Your fingers hurt. You have to press on the strings and your fingers hurt. And you have to learn scales, learn a lot of music theory, and get coordinated to play songs. And so he had to have that desire to play strong enough that he would go through the painful beginning of playing guitar. And he did. And he actually, as life went on, he ended up, he played the solo on a Grammy award-winning song from Amy Grant. He played with numerous bands. Then he discovered that he was so jazzed about music that he could write as well. And he ended up being an editor for Guitar Player magazine, and then later Premier Guitar. He was a senior editor there. He's retired now, but then, and this is a really big point about Zeal. Zeal can take you through extreme difficulties once you are going with it. And he, about 6 years ago, fell and broke his shoulder, his left shoulder, which is one that involved this way. And he was here in Oregon, and by the time he got back to Nashville, where he lived, and went to the doctor, they did an x-ray and told him that his shoulder was shattered in so many pieces that they were doubtful they would be able to put it back together. So he did go through surgery, and they pinned things and moved bones and put things from the outside as well as the inside, and stabilized his arm to where he couldn't move. And he had to stay that way for, I think it was 6 weeks, until his bones had started to bend well enough that he could start to do some movement. And then he had to go through excruciating physical therapy in order to get that arm to work again. And he did it, and he now is playing guitar again. So that is the kind of Zeal effect. And what was he going to say about that? I just lost the thought. Well, it was just that he could never imagine not playing guitar, and that helped him to get through all those tough times. So, in developing Zeal, it's best when you're in alignment your inner authentic self, and then you're co-creating with God. Here's my Grand Canyon theory of zeal. You have this little spring that comes up. Let's say it's in a flat desert, and a little spring of water bubbles up, and it's just a trickle, and it doesn't seem to know where to go, right? Gravity is not pulling it in any particular direction because it's flat relatively. So it kind of splays out and maybe finds just a minor little dip and starts to flow that way. And it goes a little farther. And eventually, you end up with a little channel. And as you get that little channel, then other, when it rains, other drips come in, other springs maybe come in, and now that channel is lower, and so gravity helps it in and join with. And pretty soon you have a stream. And that stream collects more water until it becomes a raging river. And as it does that, it erodes away enough land that it always goes lower and lower, right? And therefore draws more. And eventually you've carved out the Grand Canyon. That's a lot of power. But I had to start with a little bit of help from the trail. It's like put your finger in front of it, move like that, and now you've got it turning into a stream. So that's my Grand Canyon theory of the power of zeal. And now I want to talk about some of the pitfalls of zeal. Did you know there were some? I found out the hard way. So I worked for a chiropractor. My husband is a chiropractor. And I was writing for this website, writing a newsletter. And I wanted to write about why do people lose, how do I say that? Why do people make New Year's resolutions or say, now I'm going to go work out every day or every week, whatever. But then by February, if it's a New Year's resolution, they're already not doing any. So what is it that would keep people going to do their New Year's resolutions all through the year? And so I wrote about techniques and tools that they could use in order to stay with it. And I decided to make an experiment of myself and choose a thing that I made as a resolution and then see myself through it. And as I was reading about various possibilities, I read about cold showers. And I read about how healthy they were for you and how they could help you lose weight and how just all these different benefits of cold showers. So, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to take a cold shower every day for a year. And I started, at first it was like, woo, and I turned on the warm water and then turned down to cold. But after a week of that, I was standing in cold water, in the shower for up to 20 minutes. And then when I got out of the shower, it was drying off. And I felt this immense joy just flush up. It was amazing. I don't think I had ever felt joy before after having felt that joy. And therefore, I ran out to tell everybody about it. And when people would complain, maybe they were feeling kind of depressed, I go, you should take a cold shower. That's so great for you. People would complain about their weight. There's these great benefits with cold shower. Go try it. No, really, you'll get fat, get energy, and well, pretty soon, every time I walk into a room, you be like, look away. If I started to open my mouth, they go, no cold shower. So it was an eye opener. And I think it's important to remember that zeal is for you and not to be something to try to force on other people. Because zeal does spawn so much enthusiasm. You want to tell people. You want to tell people about it, but just to make it about yourself. I feel so great about culture. And I guess that's the last part from Charles Fillmore is, you know, the mighty faith to do the things that are to be done by me today. That's what zeal gets us through. And we can be great examples, but we just don't want to force our zeal on other people who may not be feeling the same way we do. And so I think, you know, now would be a good time for us to kind of relax and go inside ourselves. And if you feel like closing your eyes, grounding yourself, if you do that. And just let your attention sink down to your heart space, that very core of your being. And just tap into your authentic self, your spiritual beingness. And realize that your authentic self is totally in alignment with spirit, with God. And you can ask your authentic self, what is yours to do? And what would you like to have zeal for? Some direction. It never has to be a goal, as long as it's a direction. And I'm just going to be quiet for a little bit so you can hear the answer. And as you come back into awareness of yourself here, as your attention rises to the right now, knowing that you can do what is yours to do today. And you have the force of spirit and zeal, which you can open up to right now. And we say, Amen.